the last 12 months have been reasonably good for the export-oriented sectors as well, IT and pharma. Now, the pharmaceutical sector, while it's had tough in the year thus far, the last 3 months have been reasonably okay. September quarter results demonstrate the competitive and regulatory pressures weighing in some of the drug makers as well. But according to an Edelweiss note, the worst may be behind for the industry, with the domestic market recovering and companies saying that price erosion in the US is slowing down. How soon can we expect this turnaround, and when will it start showing in for investors as well? Let's ask these questions to Deepak Malik. He's senior analyst at Edelweiss Financial Services. Joins us right now on the show. Deepak, good having you. Thanks much for joining in, and wish you and your team a very happy new year. Do you think it will be a happy new year for the pharma companies?
Yeah, thanks Neeraj, and happy Diwali and happy new year.
Thank you.
Yeah, so last few years were very tough for the pharma industry, especially in India, and mainly because of the increase in competition and pricing pressures. So last year was very tough for all of them. In fact, the profits have almost half for all these companies who are exporting to US. But start of the year, I think, is better than the last few years, and mainly because of one, we have seen the currency has depreciated by almost 15%. So it's a good tailwind which will support the profitability. So that is one. And second thing, pricing pressure, which was in double digit for the last 1 or 2 years. So this year, and especially in this quarter, most of the pharma companies are saying that it has gone to single digits, 7 to 8% kind of pricing pressure. So that is another good news. And third thing, the concentration and the regulatory risk both have also come down considerably. If you see, start of the year, Sun Pharma cleared its Halol plant, and last year Cadila cleared the inspection very successfully. Aurobindo also did it fine. So only Dr. Reddy and Lupin are left in terms of clearing this, and I think by the end of this year they should also be able to clear the regulatory issues. So that also one risk is now waning. So these are some of the positive news, but there are still some challenges which are there in the US market. One, the pricing pressure is still there. 7-8% is higher than the long-term average of 4-5%. Second, the faster approvals by the US FDA, which is also not stopping, and which is leading to further more competition. And third, the Indian pharma companies are now spending more on the R&D, more in the investments, and as a result, the pressure on the profitability, which also will continue to remain, because most of them are trying to enter into complex and specialty bucket, and where the investments are high and the gestation period is long. So it's a mixed bag, but nonetheless things are improving and worse seems to be over.
Interesting. Deepak, you would have looked at these cycles in the past as well. In your annual report analysis on the sector, you've spoken about how the rising business costs, waning returns on capital, and the cash flows have turned negative. Net debt has surged 50%. Do all of these turn around very, very quickly in the case of an upcycle, if we indeed see one, because of the two factors that you mentioned, the currency and the easing of pricing pressures? Can these factors turn around very, very quickly?
So whenever the business cycle changes, so it's always a very slow process. It doesn't change it very quickly. But with these initial signs, so companies then becomes confident, and as the approvals of their complex basket will start, I think then that is the time you will see significant growth in the numbers, and then one can say that yes, the cycle has turned. I think we have to wait a little more time, maybe by the end of this year or by the start of the next year, when we will start seeing some meaningful approvals for these companies.